Hello, and welcome to Real Person Reviews. I'm Sam, and I'm a real person. And today I want to start off with a little bit of a story here. I vaguely remember this stuff, but when I was pretty young, I kind of remember playing, I'm pretty sure it was some Duke Nukem 3D, on the computer. And I thought it was really cool, and I wanted to play more of it. So I'm assuming, and this is a lot of just, me trying to remember, but just guessing, really. I'm assuming either, my parents knew, I bugged them about it or something. I want Duke Nukem, I knew it was Duke Nukem. But of course, being a little kid like that, I didn't know that there were two other Duke Nukem games anyway, and I doubt my parents knew that those were different games or anything, like which one was which or anything like that, so they probably just found one of those and got that. I vaguely remember playing a side-scroller and being like, what the fuck is this? This isn't Duke Nukem. I probably didn't say that at the time. Maybe, but probably not. And I don't know. I sort of remember that and being, disappointed, that, confused that it was a different thing. But then you go ahead a few years, and, I found another Duke Nukem game, and I got it, and I guess I don't know if I found it or if it was gifted to me, whatever, but I got my hands on another Duke Nukem game. And it turns out that, even though if I didn't know it was the same one, it was the right one. It was fun. It was more first-person shooting like I wanted. And that game is the game I want to talk to you about today. And that is Duke Nukem 64. For Nintendo 64. There it is. Duke Nukem 64 is, like I said, it's a port of Duke Nukem 3D. And it was put onto the Nintendo 64. It's a first-person shooter, very classic first-person shooter. One of the greats. It's up there, I think, from the most important ones. It's up there with Wolfenstein 3D and Doom. It's up there with those. And the thing that made Duke cool is always kind of he's this really super cliche, badass action hero with a bunch of one-liners, mostly stolen from movies. And, he was cool. You're shooting aliens, you get some guns and blow up aliens and shit. This is cool. And the Nintendo 64 version had to be a little altered. And I guess it could be seen as both good and bad. You see, the Nintendo 64 version, one of the biggest complaints that most people will have is that it's censored. And, it is. You can't be saying, certain things you just can't say on a family system like Nintendo, even though other games seem to get away with it. Conker's Bad Fur Day was on here too, There's that. But a lot of stuff got kind of censored because Nintendo likes to do that, even though it was still rated M. I guess you're shooting things, there's some blood and stuff. Okay. But I guess also I think some of the areas had to be altered too because of it. They took out some of the steroids are vitamin X. That's I guess better. And there's no strip club. That got replaced. The certain levels got us a few little tweaks and redesigns to kind of fit with the differences, and sometimes it made sense, sometimes it seemed kind of weird, trivial that they decided to do it though. I don't know, it depends on the level and the things. But they did change some of this. They re-recorded a lot of the voice samples, so because they wanted to alter some of the lines but still have similar lines there. So they had, they had John St. John come in and revoice the lines, and that's pretty cool. Instead of just revoicing some and then slapping in the old ones, which would have been probably easier but sounded goofy, they just recorded all new ones, so it sounds better. And the sounds in this for the sound clips for other items and weapons and stuff were changed, and there's some weapon changes as well. There's a lot of little things I could probably go into that I shouldn't, and I'm spending too much time on right now, but there's a lot of little changes in the aesthetics, a few in the level design, and the sounds. There is no in-game music, there is only the title screen music, that is the only one, and that kind of sucks. but that's probably the limitations of, you know, the cartridge, and they can't have a million bajillion files on there. Also, the graphics, I believe, have been upped a bit, too. So, I mean, it's hard to say much about this, because it is very much a very classic first-person shooter. It's, you know, you go around in different levels. There are, all the levels, I think there were some bonus levels in there that were included from, some of the expansions as well. And you get, basically the original, like, 3-episode things plus a game plus a few other levels in there, all as one huge campaign. It doesn't split up into episodes this time, so you carry through all of your weapons at the same time through everything. All your weapons and your items. You collect key cards and use those to open doors. You pick up a bunch of different kinds of guns, and you carry that arsenal with you in order to shoot all kinds of cool aliens. I start off in a city, then you go into space, and you go down to another city, and you finish that shit off. It's pretty cool. And, I don't know, I mean, it's very fast paced, and it's hard to really explain much of it, since it really is going around shooting enemies and exploring levels for the most part. There are some secrets in here to find, and there's a lot of funny little references and such going on. And in the Nintendo 64 version, they actually have these babes. Part of your mission is to save babes, because what else is a badass gonna do? And the thing is, in the original version, you couldn't save them. There were babes tied up in these weird alien nests and shit, and you could either sit there and watch them suffer, or you could shoot them and put them out of their misery, I guess, which would also make enemies spawn. So you probably don't want to do that. Aliens don't like it when you shoot babes either. But in here, it was really cool. It's like you can save the babes. Like, how fucking cool is that? You actually get to save people. Well, what happened with that idea? You know, maybe at least they didn't make any games after that with that mistake, did they? Oh, wait. But I'm not going to get into that. No, I'm kidding. No, it's weird. It's weird. It's just cool that they put it in here. And it's kind of weird they didn't have it in the first place, really, because it's like, that's heroic. You're able to save the babes. It also gives you incentive to explore, to try to find the secrets, and to try to find all the babes. So it gives you more incentive to explore these levels that people took the time to, design. And, I don't know, there's a lot of cool secondary items to use, too. Like, you get steroids, vitamin X, which make you go really fast. And I think you take less damage with them on, but I might be wrong. There's a jetpack so you can fly around, scuba gear for swimming underwater. By the way, swimming underwater is pretty easy. It's pretty much just like moving through normal areas. You just happen to be underwater. Really nice. Really nice they made it not suck. It's a little thing people might overlook, but it's nice because most water levels suck. Water stuff there doesn't really suck. It's good. It's another cool thing is like I would like to mention too, with the new guns, they took some guns out, put some new guns in. There's a lot more explosives, and a little thing here on the hardest difficulty, which is called Damn I'm Good. If you play on that difficulty in the original game, it's the same idea with, like, basically, when you kill enemies, after a certain amount of time, they will come back to life, unless you find a way to destroy their bodies. Of course, in the original, that was mostly done by explosives. You could freeze them and shatter them with the freeze thrower, and I think you could step on them and squish them with the shrink ray. Perhaps the expander would also explode them. That's still exploding. But aside from some of those things that come in limited ammo that you usually want to use to actually take out enemies, it's hard to do it. And in here, they made it so at least it's more doable. In Duke Nukem 64, you can shoot regular bullets. Anything that's going to shoot them, you can even just kick them without wasting any ammo, and you can get rid of those bodies, and they will not respawn after that. And that's beautiful. It's great. Thank you. I think that's also to kind of compensate for a bad thing in the game, which is where you kind of just, here's the thing. It goes through all the levels, like, in order, and there are a few big bosses in here, too, for you to fight. Pretty sweet, even though only one of them is actually rendered in 3D, but, okay. And the thing is, in these levels, if you die, you have to start the level over again. There's no saving in the middle of a level, or so you can just do a part over again. Fuck no, this is Nintendo 64, you can't do that shit. So you die, you go back to the beginning of the level. So, you know, if you fell off of a ledge that's an endless pit and you die, if you get squished by a squisher thing, if you happen to just have all your health get gone and shot to death, you know, back to the beginning of the level. And it's fine for actually getting killed by enemies, but when you just fall off the thing or get squished by some instant kill shit, or every once in a while when the game kind of glitches and, you know, it just thinks that you got squished because it kind of glitched you between a crack or something weird like that, that's obviously a glitch because you were walking out in the middle of, you know, you're in the open. Well, it doesn't matter because I thought you died, I thought you got squished, so back to the beginning of the level for you, and that's fucking frustrating. And it wouldn't be that bad, but there's a level, I believe it's called the Toxic Dump. Seriously, this level pissed me off a lot. It's one where I really had to learn how to be really good at it. Because about halfway through the level, there comes to a part where you go underwater, and there are these, like, spinning turbine things. And if you try to go into those turbines, you know, like, first time I went there, I was like, oh, I'll just go in here. I mean, like, I'm supposed to go this way because I opened up this door with a switch. And I went in there, and I got squished. And I died. Okay, I'll try it again. You know, I start up the level again, and I went to that spot, I looked at it, okay, I'm going to observe this a little bit. Oh, there's a little gap in between there, a differently colored thing that's a gap. I'm probably supposed to go in that gap, so I wait for the gap to spin around. Try to go through the gap, get squished again. I went too fast. So I went back, did it again, and tried to move at the exact same speed that the thing was turning so I wouldn't go too fast to dart forward into the other part and get squished, nor to go too slow to be squished by the speed that it was going there. So, I mean, I got through, I learned how to do it, and that's a very abridged version. I didn't figure it out quite that quickly, but you can see how that kind of shit can be really annoying, especially with stuff that you don't understand the first time through. So, I don't know, that can be frustrating, that some of that stuff wasn't tweaked somehow for the fact that you have to start over at the beginning in this game, but okay. I mean, it's not that bad, it just kind of sucks. It's a learning experience. Might make you quit playing for the day a few times, if that happens to you. And, I don't know, the lack of music is weird. The hand sound effects and stuff are nice. I wouldn't mind having some music because, god damn it, sometimes there's not even ambient noise happening during the levels, and you're just sitting there in stark silence until something shows up. And that creates a really weird atmosphere. It's kind of neat, but it's super lonely. And I don't know, it's just kind of strange. Also, this version has a really good local multiplayer. You can do co-op with 2 people, or multiplayer with up to 4. And there's some unique, at least I think it's up to 4, I could be wrong. There's also bots in the multiplayer, which is really nice. And, well, like, the co-op works pretty well. It's pretty smooth and everything. And you get the nice bonus of that when you die. I guess the designers understood that, okay, maybe people aren't gonna, you know, want to do an entire level over again while they're trying to hang out and just play this game. So when you die, you go back to the beginning of the level, but it keeps the level going. Just because one person dies doesn't make it a game over. It just means you gotta respawn at the beginning of the level, go back to where you were before. Which can create some problems sometimes, sort of, but generally doesn't. It makes it a little easier to do. You know, especially for those super hard levels or super hard difficulties you want to try out. And, I don't know. I don't know. I thought it was really nice. And the multiplayer is pretty cool. There's some, you know, you can do a lot of the single-player maps. Or you can do a few multiplayer maps that are made exclusively just for multiplayer, which is cool. And you can play it with bots, which means, like, even if no one else is there to play, you know, the minimum number of people to play a game is 1, so you can play by yourself against other bots and still have fun with it. It's pretty cool. It's a really nice addition for this kind of game. And, I mean, the console couldn't go online, so of course there's not going to be any online stuff. So yeah. Duke Nukem 64. I mean, it's great port. It's probably, I mean, as far as the ports go, it's really good. Another little part to that story I was telling you, this was the Duke Nukem game that I really grew up on. And I got a PlayStation 2 eventually, and then, like, I was been looking for other Duke Nukem games. So, what do you know, I came across another Duke Nukem game for the PlayStation 1, called Duke Nukem Total Meltdown. Holy shit, a new Duke Nukem game, I want that. Picked that up, put it in, it's the same fucking game. Same fucking game. It's also a port of Duke Nukem 3D, only, in my opinion, and of course it probably has differing opinions between the people you ask, but it's not as good of a port. This really shines because Duke Nukem 64 has really nice controls, maybe a little awkward to get used to. There's a few different schemes for you to use, but this has really good controls, mostly because you can use the analog stick as well. You have a lot of options there. And the controls were really awkward, and I didn't think they worked that well in Total Meltdown. Total Meltdown was okay for some stuff. It was nice that it had in-game music that was actually remixed. I never got to it, but there was an episode in that one that was exclusive to the PlayStation 1 version, which would probably be cool to check out. But it didn't have the remastered stuff in there as far as like the visuals and like the sounds and stuff. It was more accurate in most of the other like episodes and the content because it hadn't been censored. They didn't have to censor that stuff. But so I guess I don't know. You know, the censorship. I mean, if you'd rather it not be censored and more like the original, that's probably the one to get. But Duke Nukem 64 is really good if you want to actually be able to fucking control it. But maybe that's just me. And I'm really sorry this review was all over the fucking place, but it was hard for me to really talk about this in a more linear, organized fashion when thoughts about this game are just all over the place, and the fact that it's a port, and I had to talk about this and that and the other. So I don't know. I mean, what is your favorite Duke Nukem game? Leave it in the comments. What was your favorite port of Duke Nukem 3D? I know there's this, and then there's the other one I talked about, and there's also, I don't know, I think it's like a Genesis one, I think there's one on the Sega Saturn, there's a bunch of them, really, I think came out on quite a few systems. I just don't know all of the systems it came out for, or how good those ports are. Generally, the ports you hear about are this one and the PlayStation 1 ports, the most, so, I don't know, just tell me which one you played, which one was your favorite quote, gun, something about Duke. And, I mean, who knows? Maybe I'll talk about another Duke game sometime. That means I'm going to do it. Oh yeah, there's also this other port / remake hybrid thing of Duke Nukem 3D on Steam called Duke Nukem 3D Megaton Edition. And I also did a review of that, so if you want to know more about that, I'm going to put a link in the description to my Steam review of it. You can check that out and see if that's helpful or not, see if you want that. That's pretty cool. I thought that was related, so I was just going to tag it on here. Alright.